Cool.
I felt like one of the last times there was like a questioning session, I felt like that would have been valuable to also have recorded.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of small, but yeah, probably. But I'm recording right now, so I'll put
Thank
that
you.
up later. So who is first? I had 3 questions so far. It's Alyssa, Colby, and Ozzy. Which one of you guys wants me to help them first?
I'll go last because I have like anything I want to do.
Gotcha.
I guess maybe that's okay.
Okay, that's fine. Um, so let me share screen actually. Um, a second. Okay, so I messed with the original testing a little bit. So from your example picture, it was you want. Let me see if I can get a think of it. Yeah. So this is the player view in this little square, and this is where the enemies can spawn. But you don't want them to spawn in the player view, so you want them to spawn outside in this little part, right?
Yeah, but within the circle, so they can't spawn outside of the circle.
Okay. Let's see. Um, kind of wing it a little bit. See if I can manage to get something to work. So in my code, it's in the game controller. So far, I just listed a radius, and I did an on draw gizmo so I can see where the circle is. So it just says draw a yellow sphere at this point. And basically, in the spawn enemy, we're gonna modify it to have the spawn point be in that certain range, but out of the player's view. So I think the best way to do that is we're gonna do random inside unit circle times the radius. That gives us somewhere within that entire circle, and then we can just check to see if we're in the camera view. So let's see how we're gonna do that. We could do a circle cast to see if we hit a collider, but there's no actual collider for the camera. So I think I just want to check to see if we're less than greater than a certain amount. Let's see. Do you have something like this on yours too, where it's spawning either above, below, or left or right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that would probably make it easier. Because we know if we're trying to spawn above the player, then that means we have to be somewhere up here. So we have to be above the bounds of the camera over here, and we could be anywhere in the unit circle otherwise. So we can just check. Let's see. Drag this in. Inside unit circle times radius. We'll say if spawn point is greater than bounds.y. Dot y is greater than bounds.y plus 0.25f. Then we can spawn it. I think that'll work. So if we're above that, we could do that. It's gonna give us, yeah, else. So we'll do spawn point equals this. If our y is above that point, then we're fine, and that's our spawn point. We can just keep that. Else, we want to keep doing this until we get above it. Or we could just change this to a different number or something. I don't like to do this because this always breaks the game, but we'll see if this actually does anything. While loops like to break unity for some reason, so let's see if it crashes it. While spawn point dot y is less than bounds dot y. Just do this over again, I think. See if it breaks it. Sorry. Do int xx equals 0. I'm just gonna set it so we can just test it every time at above the player. And if it crashes, then it crashes. But let's see. Because the problem with this one is if we're way up at the top of the screen, then they can't spawn there. So we might want to just check a few times, like do like a for loop like 4 or 5 times and see if we can spawn above the player still. Or we should just pick a random number again every time. Let's see if it does anything. Okay, so it's spawning there. Spawning there, yeah. But when I'm up here, then then it crashes Unity. Yep. Yep. So that's part of the problem fixed. Oh shit, you don't need to see my task manager though. End task. The problem is I have like 3 Unity editors open at the same time. There we go. We open it real quick. Okay. It's probably better to do it the other way anyway. Do the for loop thing just because then it's better randomized spawning. Let me see. It's less likely to crash also. Sample scene. Let's do that then. It's in the base one. It's in game controller. There we go. Oh, this never closed. Cool. So let's do this. X equals random dot range from 1 to 4. The only problem now is I guess we could do this too. Let's see. Plus equals random range xx mod equals 4 or something. So we add somewhere between 1 and 3 to it, and then we divide, you get the modulus, so it stays within 0 to 4. I think that'll work. This might have to be 3, but we'll see later. So if it goes that, then it's going to be 1, 2, or 3. Because if it's 0 and I add 4, then 4 mod 4 goes back to 0. If it's 3, it's going to be 3 mod 4, it's going to be 3 still. Yeah, so that works. It should. So if we're above, then we're fine. Otherwise, add to that, and we try to find another spawn point. Yeah. I'll make it more efficient by just checking if we're greater than the left bounds and the height, or less than regular bounds and the negative bounds y. But it's probably fine. See if this actually works though. So one spawn over here, one spawn over here. it kind of works. I think it works. We can just do this different tests 4 different ways. Comment that out. Paste it in here. Cool. So instead of checking for the y value, if we're below the player, we're going to check for negative bounds y. Right? Negative bounds y minus random range. If our spawn point is below negative bounds minus random range, then do that. Else plus one equals that. Yeah, so same thing. Cool. And then if we're spawning to the right of the player, we want to check for bounds x is greater than bounds x plus 0.25. If we're checking for last one, it's going to be less than negative bounds dot x minus 0.25. And then I think that's good. Probably do this more efficiently by making a bool that says out of view or something, and then to trigger this if that's true, and then we can just loop through this whole thing until it's true. See if we can do that after this real quick. This is not a for loop, so it should work. So I'm in the middle here. Not going to do much, but if I'm up here in the corner, then it's going to spawn somewhere down here. It looks like it's working. Yeah. There's just a chance that, say you're in the middle here, and an enemy tries to spawn, and it picks a number up here, it's still in the view. Tries to pick another number, it's over here, it's still in the view, and then it's over here, and over here, it's still in the view. Then after those 4 times, since we just have the else if statements, then it won't spawn the enemy. So that's the only problem with this one so far. So I'm gonna do something that we can hopefully fix that with. Out of view equals false. We'll say out of view equals true. Oh, equals true. Dang it. I'm going to paste that into all of those. Yeah, so that should be good. And one more thing we need to do, I guess we'll just do while OB equals false. And we'll do if OV hope it doesn't crash, but it really shouldn't. It should just keep looping through this until we get somewhere that's out of bounds, or out of camera view. See if it does it. Gonna move around a little bit, and I don't see anything going wrong. It's still spawning guys, so it looks like that works. Oh, game kind of froze for a second. Yeah, so I think it works. Always spawning out of view, but according to the Steam viewer down here, they're not showing on, they're not spawning outside of the range.
Yeah, looks like it. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Just kind of winged that and somehow got it to work. Cool. It's always nice. Besides, you know, the crash, but
Yeah, sorry about that.
no, it's fine. I don't trust for loops in Unity because every time I try to do them, they crash the game. So I don't like to use them. But if you have a case where it's definitely gonna eventually come up true, then it should work, like it just did on this. So cool. That's good. Let's see. Colby's next with the breakout stuff, right? If he is there. If not, I can wait until he comes back and then do it. It shouldn't take long anyway. No, Mike. Okay, you are here. Okay, cool. So let me open the scene real quick. So your question was basically, we have the breakout game, or pong game, whatever, and you don't want the ball to bounce off everything, basically. Like you want it to only happen for certain times or states. With my platformer, then I'm asking pong is just the example. But specifically it says when bouncing, attach physical material to an object that will make it always bounce upon collision, possible to make it so the object only bounces off other objects or layers only while in certain states. So let's see. For this example, if we play it real quick, we could, like if we have no physics material, it's not trigger. It's not going to bounce at all. Yeah. And we would just need to, if you want to change the state, you could either add the physics material to it to make it happen after a certain amount of time, or you could modify the physics material for it. So with this example, the ball has the material, but we could have other objects have the materials instead. So if I, for instance, take the ball and I give it no physics materials, and instead I give it to the player, then the ball's still going to bounce because it's touching a physics material that has no friction. But then it's going to stop on those ones. So you could give the physics materials to other objects, or you could directly modify the material's properties with code. So I'm just add these again real quick. So right now, our physics material bounce has 0 friction, 1 bounciness. And we can edit that in our scripts when we need to. Got ball controller. So I just went in here and I say physics material, 2D material, and I just grab what material the rigid body has attached to it. And then you can change it by doing material.bounciness, or I think we can do dot friction. Yeah, so you can do, just modify it like that. So we have complication. I want the player to bounce off of enemies, but not the floor. I can't attach to an enemy because I don't want the enemies to bounce off the floor. You want the player to bounce off the enemies, as in when they walk into them, they'll be pushed backwards. Because you can do something without physics materials to make that happen too. When jumping, hitting at any angle in the air. Probably while moving downward, like how in the platformer we did it. Let's see, platformer code. So we could do something like, let's see. Let's see. I'm thinking the best way to do a bounce like that would just be to add force to the rigid body rather than have it be on a material. So I haven't tested it where you would have like a non-bounce material on one thing and bounce on the other. Let me see. In the code here, we do, yeah, instead of doing physics materials for the platformer, we check and see if we're hitting the enemy from above and if we're moving downwards. Yeah, if we're moving downwards, our velocity, should do that. Then we would just add force to it. And you could do it where the enemy hits the player, then it would push them backwards. I think you can do add force at position. I think that might actually work better. If you do add force at position, I think that makes it so you can push them in whatever direction they're facing. Let me see. At position, you can do vector 2.up times jump height or 2f. The position is bond.position. Let me see. Open the platform real quick for this. There we go. See if it works any better than before. It pushes them, it doesn't push them away. I wonder if we can get transformed up maybe. Actually. Maybe that's even better. Come on, down here, asshole. Oh, backwards. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that works, and probably I'm assuming the way you want. You would do negative bar.velocity.normalized times whatever force you want to add. And that way, when you hit the enemy from above, it'll push them back in the direction they were facing. So if I'm hitting him from the left, it'll push me, kinda. Yeah, so it'll kind of push me away from them. Oh, a little buggy. If I hit him from this angle, yeah, he goes up a little bit. Don't know if that's kind of what you were looking for. Because messing with the physics materials would be like, you have to add the physics material to the player. Yeah, because I don't know if there's a specific way to ignore specific collisions with the physics material. You probably, if you wanted to do it with materials, you'd probably have to do like a raycast to see what you were going to hit next, and then change your material based on that. So you would change your bounciness to 0 when you're moving downward and you're going to hit the floor. And when you're hitting the enemy, you would change your bounciness to 1 or something. So that'd be more complicated to set up because you'd have to do a lot of raycasting and check things before you actually hit them. So this way, it checks the second that you hit something, and it does something only in this instance of it. So then, like, the rest of it can act like normal. So hopefully that helps. Let's see. I'm not sure what else we could do to fix this in different ways. I guess we can go on to Aussies now. I have no idea what you want me to help you with.
Yeah.
This might be a mess. Let's see.
I'll share my screen, but I should ask if anybody else wants to go ahead. If they have any questions before me.
Are you gonna take 45 minutes?
No.
You're like, maybe.
No.
You're very.
Like it depends on. It's like, do you know how to?
You very well could take 45 minutes because I'm not doing anything else, so it's fine.
Cool.
Cool. I
Yeah,
don't
we heard
really
6:40.
do anything. I don't go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay. I'm gonna pop out your
Alright.
screen to show on video.
So the first thing is trying to get like these rotations right.
Okay.
So I have a ship here, and when I have it turned anywhere but like a zero rotation, the guns they don't compensate correctly. And when I reset the rotation, I do this. And then it plays nice. And then I'm trying to get the rear guns reset to face backwards. The front ones are fine.
Ah.
Quaternions are fun.
Yeah, I love them.
Faces straight up in the Z direction.
Love quaternions.
Yeah.
Always fun.
Four-dimensional numbers.
Yeah.
With complex components. And I'm also trying to get the kind of movement right. Like you see, it's kind of funky. So when I tried implementing like the wandering stuff we went over last time.
Yeah.
When I move out of range, it just kind of it goes straight towards the center.
Interesting. Let's see what the code looks like.
So this is to make it face the player. Make it big because it's probably on 720p.
Turn guns to player for each object. It might be rotate towards the quaternion dot rotate towards. That might be what's messing with it, because I think that's specifically a 3D rotation as opposed to 2D, so it might be making it go on more than just the Z-axis. So like, see on
I
like
tried a bunch of them.
you try this one from the lecture. Vector 3 equals the position minus, well, the target position minus the current position. We get the angle, the A10, you pass in the Y and the X, and then you set the rotation to be quaternion.lerp from our current rotation to this new rotation by this time.
Because I already have the angle. These three lines.
I'm wondering if it has to be also the local rotation or not. transform dot rotation instead of position.
Yep. Change the rotation.
Oh.
Does it
So
look accurate to you?
it's aiming a little in front of. Is the ship offset by anything?
No.
The player ship or the submarine, whatever.
No, I just move it forward. The only thing I change is the scale. I guess the starting position is.
Can you go to the sprite real quick for it?
Sprite. Yeah.
From the pivot. Click on the sprite editor real quick. In the top right. Maybe that's why.
Okay.
I don't know. Go out of there and go to sprite mode multiple. Yeah, and then apply.
Auto usually does it. Yep.
Cool. And then you can drag that one into the player or the submarine.
Did I delete it?
No, it's because it's multiple sprites. It doesn't recognize it yet.
Oh. Yes.
So then you can just drag it into now at the very top. And then hopefully it works.
Still kind of offset.
If they're
Also,
local.
when I move close enough, it just rotates all the way around.
Wonder if the local rotation is messing with it.
Should I just do the?
Yeah, see if it's regular rotation. I wonder. And then you have to change the other instance of it at the very beginning. The gun.transform.local rotation down below. It's in the same line as the lerp. It's just at the beginning of it. Yeah, there you go. So I might be trying to go back to the local rotation. Yeah, so it's aiming at it now, but when you get close, it gets a little weird. Are you setting the rotation anywhere else?
No. I have like a reset thingy. That doesn't happen until it's broken, but this doesn't trigger until I leave the trigger collider. On trigger exit, that's what I call it.
If wandering, one distance, what's that? Are you calling complete rotation anywhere? Or completed rotation?
Yeah, this is just a check though. I want it to shoot when I'm done turning the guns. This is also kind of broken. Because I just have it shoot. The condition is if the angle is like less than 2 degrees, then right now I just have it send me a debug log, like a log entry, and that never triggers.
Let me see.
I have a lot of issues with just getting these rotations in.
Go back to the scene real quick. Check the submarine and the ship.
Like the objects?
Yeah. Okay. And then the other one, the ship. Does it work if it's zeroed out though? Right now?
Let's try it. When I get close, it just doesn't play nice.
Why though? Oh, and then it and then it's gone. Oh, because you're exiting the trigger now. It's doing weirder stuff.
Thought it was supposed to stay attached.
The submarine is just yeah. Click on him then real quick. Do they have? Click on edit the constraint on the rigid bodies and set it to freeze the rotation. When it gets out of range, it's just gonna break right now. But click on the Can I see it in the scene view? Pause it real quick. Oh shit.
Pause this.
Like when I start to break, go to the rear gun. $335. Click on the submarine. What's the child of the submarine? Not to do
I
it
just
too.
have it to like a spawn point for torpedoes. Cameras in the way. But it's just it's just an empty game object that I use to get positional data.
Interesting. Let's see. How to rotate position child object independently of the parent. When I look it up, it says something like this. It says transforms to rotate equals get those, and then for all the children, then rotate towards I don't know if you would just set this to be the player rotation or the player position.
Vector 3.forward or just point to.
Yeah, that just rotates all the time. But you would just change this probably the player's rotation. Actually, that would just keep rotating it, I think, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Rotate position child independently.
I spent a fair amount of time looking it up. Few solutions. Nothing please nice.
Let me try some stuff on my end. Let's see. Canon. Why can't I drag it in? The hell? There we go. I just drag it in, but now I have to edit the whole thing.
Good stuff.
Always good stuff. Move player. Let's see. Oops. That in update. Whoa, no Japanese. Get out of here. I need you right now. That should be all. I'll just disconnect this. My god, Discord, why are you blowing up right now? That's why you're blowing up right now. Bullet spawn, particles, by particles, sword. Just need that. Sorry, got a message from someone else in class. So I'm gonna remove this one, add this one. Yeah. Even if I'm way out of the way, it's rotating towards the enemies. Even if I'm rotated way over here. Like, I can rotate it to mess it up a little bit, but it's still going to adjust itself. What the hell? How did yours not work then?
Good question. Good question.
I would just try to get your movement right on it immediately, so it goes to a different position and rotates and stuff toward its position. And then once it's rotated toward its, once the actual ship moves fine, then add these maybe to a different script. Maybe you have to have on a different script. That might be the problem. Because it's trying to adjust its children's rotation. Maybe it's trying to mess with them and it's still doing it locally instead of regularly. That shouldn't be the case, but it's possible that that's what's happening.
So should I end up making each gun turn independently?
Yeah, I think so. You would probably just have in the ship controller, you would say if you're in range, then you would go and set a bool in your little ships, and you would say public bool start aiming or something, and you just set this to true when you're in range and set it to false when you're not in range, so it knows to rotate or not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not. I guess try what I said, and then if it still doesn't work, then let me know. It shouldn't be a problem as far as I see, like what you're doing right now, but I don't know why it's not working. It's weird.
Okay. That's that.
Oh.
You help me figure out movement?
Yeah. What kind of movement do you want? Where it rotates towards the player and then
The
moves?
idea is like I wanna have like a bunch of ships spawn in. And like the cool thing is wait. Okay, yeah. So I already have like this kind of dive mechanic.
Okay.
And like what I want to be like, oh, if I'm visible, then they start aiming and shoot at me. If I'm not, I can just go underwater and shoot.
Okay.
So I want them to just kind of move semi-randomly across the canvas.
You know what you could do actually? Or you could cheese to actually like instead of you can make a shader to make it all black or something when you're going underwater. Or you could just put a child on the submarine and then make it like a circle, like an oval, and then just make it like disable your main sprite when you go under, and then the child sprite's gonna still show up, and it'll look like it's a little like shadow or something underwater or something.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
I figured water is gonna be a pain to get right.
Yeah.
It should look shadowy. And
Yeah.
Also interactive.
Strange.
But I'm okay with like having not very nice as long as it works.
As long as it works. So you want the submarine or the ship to basically just move around and patrol and stuff?
Yeah. Just kind of move around the canvas.
Okay.
It's way bigger.
What does it do right now? I mean, I've seen that it just
moves like straight down.
What's the code for that? Is it getting a position somehow? Or is it just moving straight down?
It's like it sits in the very center of like the screen. For some reason. The code for that is this is what we did the last time we had like this QA session.
Move towards position, water speed. Yeah. Press with that position. Did I say times? Random dot inside unit circle or plus? Maybe it should be plus. The one before that. No, the same line, but right before the random. Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Oh, maybe that was the error. Plus is ambiguous between vector 3 and vector 2. Oh, okay, yeah. So just at the beginning of vector of transform dot position, where the red starts.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that transform dot position, put vector 2 in parentheses. So right before, yeah.
Casting it?
Yeah. So just put vector 2 in parentheses before backwards. Put the vector 2 words in parentheses.
Oh.
And then it should hopefully be good. No? Oh, there you go. I was gonna say they're both vector 2 now, so why did they not work? Except for instead of move towards, you should set it to rotate like how the guns, the turrets should rotate. You should set it to rotate towards that new position, and then to always just push itself forward.
Okay.
So if you do the code from before with the turrets.
Yeah, right. So I would take essentially this stuff, but make it towards the new position.
Yeah, so you do so if you do at the beginning transfer dot rotation equals quaternion dot lerp towards that position, then that sets the ship's transform dot up to be that. So because it does that, you can just say rigid body 2D dot add force transform dot up times whatever speed, and then it should always move up. That way it moves in a logical way, like it would on the water, because the boats can't just turn like that. They would always move forward, and they have to turn slowly. And you can just set the rotation speed to be like something slower, so they don't always rotate efficiently, you know. You can also set it where there's a waypoint. Let's see, because down at the bottom where you're actually setting the place to move toward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back to the move towards. So you can save wander position. Yeah, on trigger exit 2D wander position equals transform dot that. Yeah, so you can set the wander position, and you could say like, when you reach the goal, then wait like 2 to 3 seconds, and then set a new wander position. So you can make it so that it goes to the position and then stops for a couple seconds, and then it picks a new position to go to. Otherwise, it'll just... Because what I saw, what we just showed was, it was going to the position and then changing immediately, and then it was kind of like stuttering back and forth. Yeah. So you want it to go and sit for a second and then do that.
I guess kind of question on the same line is crap, I lost my train of thought.
It's all the time.
It's okay, yeah. So if I have my boat, let's say move this way, and then a new coordinate shows up like here.
Yeah.
Would it start turning this way as it's turning, or would it? Because I feel like if I'm turned this way, I shouldn't be moving like this.
So the front of the ship, on the top left, if you do it to always move forward with the transform dot up, then it should push to the left in this case, and it should rotate towards that position downward. So it should start moving to the left and then rotate.
So as long as I have it, it just moves the direction it's facing.
Yeah, so it moves the direction it's facing, and then it'll slowly rotate towards that correct position. So that's why you want to do the you want to change its rotation. You want to lerp it over time. That way it slowly gets to that position instead of just clipping to it and then moving immediately toward it. So it has a better feel to it, especially for a giant ship that can't turn immediately, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's on the head. I guess last question is how do I make things backwards relative to the parent object? Because if I do quaternion identity, that's just face forward. But you can't do a negative quaternion or negative. Yeah, you can't inverse. You can inverse it, but it doesn't look backwards in 2D.
Backwards according to the parent, you would get its. You must be able to get.
I want it to face this way.
Is the front on the right side of the ship then?
Yeah. So if we call side the front, side the back, how do I make this gun at the back?
Okay. Because the transform dot up is going to be to the right then in this case, so you would want to change the turret's rotation to be the negative transform dot up. It should just flip it like that. I think that should work immediately.
Okay.
So in the code, if you have a script for controlling the rotation of the turrets themselves, you could just get a reference to the parent, and you could say transform.rotation equals, lerp, transform.parent.rotation. And then it should do the opposite if you flip the negative. If you just do negative transform.parent.rotation.
Okay, cool, yeah.
I think it just directly flips it that way, so it should be good.
Alright. Thank you, Cole.
No problem. Hopefully that helped somewhat. Let me know if there's still problems.
I mean, there will be, but...
There is always problems. It's game dev. That's how it goes. Let me disable this boy so it's not in the scene. Yeah, cool.
For the progress report, that's just do another micro game, right?
Yeah, that's the shmup or the tower defense game due Sunday. Cool. Yep, easy.
Shmup done already.
Yeah. Let's do Sunday night. I'm still grading the stuff from last progress report. I'll finish it by the end of this weekend. And then the end of spring break is gonna be about your term project, so that should be fine. And then it's gonna be 2 micro games in a row, and then term project.
So for like Stone Project, Progress Support, if I finish these mechanics, is this a good enough
Yeah.
thing to have done?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Totally fine. As long as you have screenshots of the game and your code, then I'm not really I'm easy. I'm not grading too hard.
Cool, man. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
See you around then.
See you later. Good luck. Cool. Any other questions from people?
I don't have anything, so I guess we're basically done.
I guess we're done. Okay. I will save the recording and upload it then.